Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Jordan and welcome to today's video, which I am very excited for. We are going through all of the books coming out in the next 3 months that I'm really excited for. I've been doing these quarterly anticipated release videos all year, and not only has it been fun to talk about books that I'm excited are coming out soon, but also it's been really helpful for me in requesting early copies, keeping up with pre-orders or getting ahead on library holds, and just making sure I'm in the know with what's coming out is helping me actually keep up with what's coming out and prioritizing the new releases that I'm excited for. So if you want to hear about 25 books coming out in October, November, and December, that's what we're doing. A quick note on where I hear about and learn about upcoming book releases in case you want to start doing it yourself or doing a better job of keeping track of what books are about to come out. The places that I constantly look to hear about upcoming releases are, first of all, NetGalley. NetGalley is a free website that anybody can create an account for that publishers use to release e-ARCs or electronic advanced reader copies, where reviewers can go on, read early copies of the book, and then provide reviews before their publication dates. Their website makes it really easy to browse books that have recently been added or books that are popular. I like to go on there every few days and just check out what's recently been added. A lot of books get added on there way ahead of time. I already have ARCs that I've requested and been approved for that don't get released until 2024. So that is a great resource. I also recently have started using the Goodreads new release feature. And I'm looking over here and the setup's a little bit different today because I am in front of my computer. But under the Browse tab at the top of Goodreads, there is a new release section, and that will tell you month by month what books are coming out by authors that you have either marked as read or want to read. That's a really great feature because I do like to keep up with authors that I've read from before, and this will list all of them, whether they are hyped or not. So that's a great feature, but it doesn't go too far into the future. Thirdly, I watch a lot of other videos like this of booktubers talking about books that they're excited about and have on their radars. And fourth, last but definitely not least, I follow authors on Instagram. This is a big one that I've prioritized because authors will be the first ones to shout about their own news when they have book deals happen, or they have cover or title reveals, or they're opening up pre-orders for their new book. So definitely follow authors you're interested in, follow your favorite authors, and you will be the first to hear about their new books when they're announced. So with all of those resources, I feel like I have a pretty good handle on books coming out by authors I'm interested in and in genres I'm interested in. And there are definitely some good ones coming out in Q4. So starting in October, I've got 13 books to talk about, and actually 8 of them I've already been approved to read e-ARCs through NetGalley. So look forward to a vlog coming out very soon to hear my thoughts on some of these books. But the first set of books are all coming out on October 3rd. The first one is Midnight is the Darkest Hour by Ashley Winstead. Ashley Winstead is an author that I've really enjoyed reading from in the past, including books like The Last Housewife. She writes in a variety of genres, and I believe this is a different genre than any book she's written in the past. The Goodreads synopsis says it's a gothic southern thriller about a killer haunting a small Louisiana town for fans of Verity and A Flicker in the Dark. Personally, I liked both of those, so that bodes well for me enjoying this book. And I do have a copy of this to review on NetGalley. Also coming out on that day, October 3rd, is an anthology called Out There Screaming, which is being edited by Jordyn who I love his movies. So I'm very excited. Even though horror is not my most read genre, I do feel like horror short stories might be a good way to dip my toe in a little bit more. And I just could not help requesting this one once it was announced. So I've got this one on NetGalley. Also being released on October 3rd is Beholder by Ryan LaSala. I have read one other book by this author called The Honeys. This was a very mind-bending young adult horror book that I had mixed feelings on, but made me very interested to try more by this author and find out what else he has up his sleeve. I love the cover of this one, interested to read Beholder. I have a copy of it on NetGalley, and if I enjoy this one, then I may explore his backlist even more. Okay, then we have a very exciting release for me personally. Also coming on October 3rd is a book called The Quiet Room by Terry Miles, which is the sequel to a book that I really loved called Rabbits. This is a sci-fi book about this game that is kind of like augmented reality, but also not really. Super twisty and mind-bendy. I loved the world that this book was set in, and so I'm very excited for the sequel, which I believe is set in the same world. I don't know anything about the plot. I don't need to know anything about the plot. I immediately requested it on NetGalley when I heard about it. I have it ready for me to read. I hope I enjoy it as much as I enjoyed Rabbits. I hope I'm a little bit less confused than I was in Rabbits, but that probably won't be the case. Either way, I'm so excited to read it and re-immerse myself in that world. And then last but not least, one more book coming out on the 3rd of October is The Blackwoods by Brandy Colbert. I have not read from this author before, but I know she has a lot of books out and I know they've gotten really great reviews. So I want to try her out. Maybe this newest release is the book to do that. I believe this is a young adult contemporary book. The cover, I'm just in love with it. Don't know much more, but I'm interested in trying it out. All right, then jumping forward to October 10th, I've got two books to talk about. The first one is called Charming Young Man by Elliot Schrafer. This one I am very intrigued by. Goodreads says it's a young adult historical fiction book that also has queer romance elements in it. I'm trusting it because I really loved The Darkness Outside Us by the same author. Completely different genre. This is sci-fi set in space about these two guys who actually end up in kind of a time loop together, and there's a romance in it as well. Because I loved this one so much, I'm willing to give this one a try. We'll see how it goes. But I was really excited to see that this author has a new release coming out, as well as the next one called Stars in Your Eyes by Kaysen Callender. Again, I've loved a previous book by this author. Felix Ever After, one of my favorites, young adult contemporary book about a trans main character. Stars in Your Eyes, I believe, has some element of fame or following at least one famous character, also LGBTQ. Kaysen Callender is a trans author, so excited to support him and his books, and hoping I love that one as much as this one. I believe it's adult while this one was young adult, so we'll see how that goes. This one was also offered as a Libro advanced listener copy, so I already have the audiobook for it, which I'm also pumped about, so we'll be getting to this one very soon. While we're on the topic of queer romances, we have Dragged to the Wedding by Andrew Gray, which releases on October 17th. I've never read from this author before, but I was sucked in by the title and cover of this one. I requested it on NetGalley and was approved, so I will be reading it. Something about a drag queen and a wedding setting. I don't know. Sounds fun, so I'm excited about it. Also coming out on October 17th is The Christmas Guest by Peter Swanson. Peter Swanson has been kind of hit or miss for me. I actually think mostly miss. I haven't loved him as much as other people have, but this seems to be a Christmas setting thriller. I believe it's a novella, only 112 pages. I may or may not try it out. I might wait for reviews to come out, but in case you are interested and have enjoyed Peter Swanson in the past, put this one on your radar. Also coming out on October 17th is American Girl by Wendy Walker. Wendy Walker, I just tried recently for Summerween. I read What Remains and surprisingly really enjoyed it, so she's going back on my radar as an author to follow. The book that I read from her followed a main character, like detective, female police officer, so I'm not sure if that's what this one is as well, but I was intrigued enough to at least add this to my list and keep it on my radar through October. Then coming out on October 24th is Iris Kelly Doesn't Date by Ashley Herring Blake. This is the author of Delilah Green Doesn't Care, which I loved, and the sequel, Astrid Parker Doesn't Fail, which I haven't read yet, but need to get to very soon. This book is the third book in the series, queer, adult, rom-com type books. I loved the first one. Hope I love the second one, and will be picking up the third one. Also coming out on October 24th is The Search for Us by Susan Azim Boyer. Have not read from this author before, saw this on NetGalley, was pulled in by the cover. It's a young adult contemporary book about two half-siblings, I think, searching for their shared father. Sounded interesting to me. And then last but not least, the final book coming out in October that I'm excited about is called The Space Between Here and Now by Sarah Suk. This is another young adult book that I saw on NetGalley and was intrigued by. This one I believe has a sci-fi element. I think it's about a girl who goes back in time, and I'm a sucker for a time travel trope. Now getting into November, I've got 8 books that I'm interested in. The first is Check and Mate by Ali Hazelwood. Yes, this is her second book coming out this year. I believe this is her young adult debut. I recently read Love Theoretically for a Book of the Month reading vlog. Spoiler, I really enjoyed it, so totally interested in checking out her newest release and seeing what she can do in young adult. That releases on November 7th. As well as Love Redesign by Lauren Asher. I believe this is the first book in a new romance series. Lauren Asher wrote the Dreamland Billionaire series. The first one is called The Fine Print. I have read the entire series. I had varying results with each of the books and my enjoyment of them, but I did enjoy it as a whole, and I enjoyed the concept. I love the covers. I'm excited for a new series from this author. Kind of a guilty pleasure if there was such a thing. I'm hoping this series gets as much hype as this one did and I can be all on top of it. Switching gears back to thrillers, also coming out on November 7th is Keep Your Friends Close by Lucinda Berry. I have read probably 1 or 2 other Lucinda Berry books, but she's got a bunch of them. A lot of my friends really love her. She writes quick, fast-paced, twisty thrillers. Not sure the details on this book, but excited for it to be out. And then the fourth and final book coming out on November 7th is one that I actually have a physical copy of. It's The Revenge Game by Jordyn Taylor. I actually did a whole reading vlog, reading books by Jordyn Taylor, because she has the same name as me. It's spelled the same with a Y. My middle name is Taylor, her last name is Taylor. It's super fun. I really enjoyed her previous two books, one of them being Don't Breathe a Word, which is a young adult mystery thriller. I think this is in the same vein as that. I think it's set at like a boarding school. Yeah, it says an elite prep school, competitions, fun teenage angst. I'm really excited about it. Thank you to my friend Naomi from Naomi's Library, who received this arc from the publisher and then graciously sent it to me because she knew I was really interested in it. Can't wait to dive in. Okay, getting later into November. Coming out on November 14th is a book called Good Girls Don't Die by Christina Henry. I have not read from this author before, but I have heard of her books and heard good things, especially Near the Bone, I think got really good reviews. But this is a mystery thriller kind of horror book about three main characters who find themselves trapped in lives and stories that they know are not their own. Like it says the first one about a main character named Celia who wakes up and there's a little girl who claims to be her daughter and a man who claims to be her husband, but they're not hers. That's enough to capture me right there. I'm interested to hear what's going on and how these three stories intertwine. Sounds really good. Okay, then I've got a couple more books that I found on NetGalley that I'm interested in that come out on the 14th as well. We've got Boot Camp by Gina Musa, which looks like a really fun and cute romance about a main character who goes to a 5-week summer boot camp. Looks like there are competition elements, looks fun. I think this actually was published on Wattpad first, which worries but intrigues me, so I will try it out. And then also coming out on November 14th is The New Naturals by Gabriel Bump, which I'm not really sure what the synopsis is, but it sounds like it's this abandoned restaurant that becomes this like safe haven for people. They migrate to it and it becomes this utopia for them. I'm not sure what else happens, but I'm intrigued enough to try it out, so I thought I'd put it on this list and we will see how it goes. I'm not sure if it's like science fiction. On Goodreads it's listed as literary fiction, so could go anyway. And then finally, the last book that I have releasing in November is coming out on November 28th. It is The Mystery Guest by Nita Prose. This is the sequel to The Maid, which was a super big book the year it released, I think last year. It won the Goodreads Choice Awards for mystery thriller category, so I know a lot of people will be anticipating this one. I believe it follows the same main character and another person dropping dead in the hotel that she works at, so I will definitely be checking that out. All right, then finally getting into December, there are only 4 books that I know of coming out this month. The first one is called Technically Yours by Denise Williams. This is a romance author that I recently had put on my radar because she was local to Iowa, which is where I used to live. I've read a few of her books, including How to Fail at Flirting. I'm excited to read more of them. I don't know anything about this new one. I think it's just an adult contemporary romance, but she is a BIPOC author that I will continue to support. That one comes out on December 5th. On the 12th is a book called Game On by Ceresia Glass. Another adult contemporary romance. I believe this one has like a video game element to it, which sounds super fun to me. I have not read from this author before, but the cover got me, so I'm interested. Coming out on December 19th is a book that I know a lot of people are very excited about. It's The Heartstopper, Volume 5, graphic novel. I've only read the first 2, but I think I want to catch up and read the rest. No, I have not watched the TV show yet, but it's on my list. And also I recently won a giveaway for the back to school readathon hosted by my bestie Gwen. She did a giveaway for it and I ended up winning it, and in that prize pack came the Heartstopper like yearbook special edition sort of book, which it hasn't come to me yet, so I don't have it or else I would show it. But I feel like getting that was kind of the final push I need to read the rest of this series with everybody else so I can gush with everybody else. So this last one is on my radar. I do believe it's the last installment in total for this series. And then last but not least, coming out on December 26th is a book that I know, again, a lot of people are looking forward to. It's Ruthless Vows by Rebecca Ross, because this book, Divine Rivals, has been taking BookTube by storm lately. I don't know why, but I've seen so many people read and love this book. I think it's light fantasy, but also strong historical fiction. So I've seen fans of fantasy really love it. I've seen fans of realistic historical fiction really love it, and a little bit of everything in between. So I'm very intrigued by it. I have not read it yet, but planning to very soon. And if I enjoy it, of course, I will be picking up the sequel with everyone else in December. So that is all that I have on my list for new releases in the next 3 months. Let me know if I missed any anything, if you have any books coming out that you are extra excited about. I can't wait to read a bunch of these books and let you know my thoughts on them. And let me just tell you, I already have a very long list compiled for 2024 new releases. Actually, let me check. I've already got 50 books, most of them in the first 4 months of the year. So these videos of anticipated releases are not going anywhere, nor are the ARC vlogs, because like I mentioned, I've already been approved for a bunch of those on NetGalley. So reviews coming soon, cannot wait for it. Other than that, I don't think I have anything else. So thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in my next one.